Alright guys, here we go. First off, spawning as our purple Protoss has been an absolute terror for binary gaming to try and deal with. He is none other than vVvRockEr. His opponent going to be spawning as our yellow Terran coming in for binary gaming. Going to be trying his darndest to take out Rocker and then finish off the remaining vVv competitors. He, of course, is going to be Paradise. So here we go. Tal'Darim. Altar the map. Probably mispronouncing it. Do see Paradise is going to throw at least the initial supply depot down in this choke area. Most Terran players will do that whether they go for a 1-Rax expand or not. Not really going to be indicative too much until we see the first barracks go down. We find out when Paradise's gas timings are going to be. See Rocker right now does have his first pound out, does have the 9 scout. Will scout Paradise immediately, which is pretty big for Rocker. Especially in this PvT matchup, the Protoss players always want to try and find a Terran player as soon as possible. Make sure they don't get walled off from their base so that they can see the gas timing of the Terran player. They have an idea of what direction the Terran player is going to go. A little bit of a worker slap fight over here. Do see no gas is taken for Paradise thus far. That typically would be indicative by this point in the game of a 1-Rax expand. Rocker should know those timings. So I would expect Rocker to do something like a 1-gate into an expand against this. Assuming he sees no gas go down from Paradise anytime soon. Doing a very good job of keeping this probe alive in the base as long as possible. First barracks is now finished. We'll drop another supply depot down there, so we'll trap the probe in the base. The probe definitely going to die. Sure, once Rocker realizes this, he'll just try and keep an eyeball on the Terran's gases. Do see Rocker immediately down by his natural. Going to be expanding right away. Still haven't seen any gas out of the Terran, so would be safe for him to assume at this point in the game that the Terran is going to go 1-Rax into an expand. And if he honestly takes a late gas, probably would delay the Terran enough that Rocker would be absolutely fine with the 1-gate expand either way. So really, Paradise should be expanding momentarily, and there he goes. He'll be dropping that expansion onto natural, so we're definitely going to have a little bit of a lull in the action while both these guys macro up in the early stages of the game. Now we did see in the last PvT that our Rocker played against with Ace. Ace was extremely aggressive, going with a very quick 5 Raxes. So I'll have to wait and see how Paradise does play this matchup, see if he plays a little more standard or not. Do you have the safety bunker going down? It's the little things that can matter so much in these games of StarCraft 2. So many times I've seen too many Terrans skimp on these bunker placements and such forth, and get themselves into a heap of trouble in a hurry by trying to cut corners too much. Tech-wise, nothing new really just yet for our Protoss player. 2 gateways right now. Do have the warp gate research underway. Should be getting quite a few more barracks added on potentially for Rocker shortly, but actually not going to be the case. Has taken 2 gases and is getting a very fast factory now. Occasionally you will see a Terran go 1-Rax expand into Banshees, and with this wall off at the front, that definitely could be a possibility. Especially with the fast double gas there after the expansion, you do have enough gas to go that route, if you so choose. So it'll be interesting to see, especially with the way he's placed this factory kind of off to the back of his base where it'd be hard to scout. If indeed Paradise might go for some Banshees. Ends up being forced to lift the factory momentarily, and there indeed does go on the starport and the tech lab, so he is going to go 1-Rax expand into Banshees here. So it's going to be really important for Rocker in this type of a scenario is to recognize what's going on in time and get down a robotic space so that he can't actually get up an observer. He has taken a very fast third once again, though. And in the last couple of games that we've seen Rocker play, really hasn't rushed the robotics facility too quickly. So this build by Paradise could actually be very devastating to Rocker. If Rocker plays a lot like he has in the past couple of games, where he tends to favor gateway units with some upgrades in a very fast Twilight Council versus going with the Robotics Facility. But he does actually throw down the Robotics Facility very quickly this game. So this is going to be huge for Rocker that he went with this fast Robotics Facility, because that means he will have observers out in time before any cloaked Banshees can hit his base. So that's going to be just absolutely massive for Rocker that he did throw down that fast Robo Bay. So Rocker's still playing this very macro-aggressive style of play, taking a very, very quick third base. Nobody's been able to punish him for doing it, though, so thus far it seems like the way to go for Rocker. Has looked very strong, has been able to defend anything his opponents have thrown at him, and has been able to apply a lot of pressure. And here comes the first Banshee, but that'll actually be spotted by Rocker's pylon as the Banshee flies over it. Cloak not finished up yet. Will finish shortly after the Banshee gets to the base. But really, this Banshee is going to have a small timing window where it can actually do any kind of damage whatsoever. Do see the first observer already on the way. So it will be out momentarily. No Cloak up. Actually just going to attack right in. Just gets one probe kill before it's forced back already by the Stalkers. And this Banshee move by Paradise is going to be something that's going to have to be abandoned pretty much immediately. But probably end up building the second Banshee regardless. But as soon as he realizes that there is detection up for Rocker, he should cut Banshee production and move into a more traditional style. Smart play by Rocker there, actually bypassing the Banshee like he couldn't see it for a second there. Almost gets the Banshee, but the 14 hit point Banshee does manage to escape. Can't say how many times I have seen that happen. We'll place one observer with this Banshee so that he can spot for it. Second Banshee is out and on the way. He'll be moving towards... should actually run into that third base, I do believe, at some point. You do see that that path does take it across that third base. Right now, though, Paradise is going to be macroing up behind this slight Banshee pressure. You see a lot more barracks is now on the way. It's going to be swapping the starport into a reactor so that he can get the double medevacs out initially and then be prepared to build Vikings once Paradise is prepared to go to Colossus Tech. See this Banshee moving into the third now. Will Cloak up. Should get a pretty decent amount of kills actually on these probes. See him right away focus firing these probes. We'll get 3, maybe a 4th kill right off the bat. And yes, he will. He even almost picks off a 5th. Looks like he really wants to try and send this Banshee back in towards the main, but there is an observer following it. Now moving here towards the natural, Rocker immediately pulls all of his probes off. We'll just actually reposition his forces over there, and that's actually enough to back Rocker up without the observer even heading over there. I'm going to be whacking away here at this third base. It looks like Rocker might be content to just wait for Cloak to run out on this Banshee. Still does have a decent amount of energy, so we get a couple more kills, but now no, here comes the observer finally back in and over. And we'll chase that Banshee off. Banshee behind the main has departed as well. So no more Banshee pressure for Rocker to deal with. Now we're going to move into more of just a standard game. You see the Marine Marauder forces here of Paradise moving out. We'll be knocking down these destructible rocks so he can prepare to take his third. Already has the third command center up, morphing into an orbital right now. Do have right now the double E-base going up in the back of the base. Armory as well. So he'll be able to very quickly move to 2-2 upgrades. Always very important for the Terran player to try and get his upgrades out as soon as possible, especially when Protoss players tend to lean more towards heavy gateway types of compositions. Because if a Protoss player can chrono boost out enough upgrades fast enough and get a large enough upgrade advantage, they can be very tough for the Terran players to deal with more towards the mid game until the Terran can catch back up. So getting ahead is huge for Terran players. It looks like he will actually catch a couple of Stalkers just out in the middle of the map. Stim is a little bit late though, and it looks like a lot of these Stalkers will actually manage to get out of there and away. One Stalker is starting to get a little bit low. Going to condense his forces back down. Looks like he is going to retreat towards his natural. Those ramp areas just so good for Protoss. Really, they rely a lot on choke type of areas. You do see there is going to be an engagement though. Just one Guardian shield goes up. Now some force fields go up, but they really don't do a very good job of trapping a lot of the Terran forces. And Paradise right now is just absolutely obliterating the forces of Rockers. A little bit of a miss on the force fields there. Guardian shield was a little bit late. And Rocker really paying for it right now. That Immortal gets taken down, and Rocker could be in a lot of trouble if Paradise can reinforce this push. You see right now Rocker trying to reinforce in here. No charge or blink on any of these units since he did go for that faster robo to deal with the Banshees. And right now Paradise just storming through. going to be able to take out this natural expansion. You see right now Paradise at 153 supply to the plummeting supply of Rocker, and Rocker is in a ton of trouble. See him trying to Chrono Boost out some Colossus to try and deal with these bio units. Does get off a couple of good force fields, splitting up the Terran army over there in between his natural and his main. So right now his force is dwindling, just a handful of Stalkers left. That Immortal goes down, which is so good against the Marauders. And right now Paradise is going to end up winning the game as the well play comes out of Rocker, and Paradise will take the series back to 4-2.